Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, I'll jump into it for you. So, Ansarada, what I'm going to take you through today is who are we? What do we do? I could talk for hours on that, but I'll keep that really concise for you, a bit about our history. Dive into some couple of customer stories that demonstrate the value we're adding and how people use our products, and a bit about our strategy being executed. But I really encourage you to check out our social channels, follow us on there, go to our website. You can sign up for some newsletters and things, and you'll get even more richer info. We did put out our Q3 results. That's on the ASX site, but I won't go through all of that. But I will dive into some of the awesome stuff that we've achieved and what it means for the future. And that's going to lead into the investment case for Ansarada, and then a bit of Q&A. So let's kick that off. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, who is Ansarada? So the name Ansarada comes from the four founders. I'm the one there, Sam, but there's Andrew, Sam, Rachel, and Daphne. And we got started in 2005. There was a transaction on the table to sell a business, and the buyers were in the US. And the bankers and lawyers said to Andrew and Rachel, who were working on it, they said, you should get a virtual data room. Otherwise, everyone's got to fly over here and do physical due diligence, literally locked up in rooms with papers of, contracts and legal and financial information, physically doing it. Very long, very expensive, not good. So there wasn't many virtual data rooms around at that time. Andrew thought they were pretty clunky from a technical perspective. Rachel and Daphne thought they were expensive, so they built something on their own. And then I got together with them on more strategy, sales, marketing person, and four of us started the company. And we grew it from $30,000 in capital. We didn't do Series A, B, C. We were cash flow positive for 14 years of our life, invested every dollar back in growing the business to where it is today. But along the way, we developed some awesome capabilities and a brand that's trusted. And we did go and raise capital a couple of years ago to set ourselves up for a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. And that's what we're excited about. And that's what I'll take you on a journey today. So if we go to the next slide, the way we describe our platform is it's for governing information. And it's about helping people that rely on information to make decisions, to do those decisions quickly and confidently. Now, why? Because there's critical outcomes in the business life cycle, like your audits, raising money, the information that flows to and from the board, compliance information to the regulators, or compliance within a standard like ISO standards, so your customers can trust you because you're audited against a standard that everyone respects. But all of those things are underpinned by information. So if you look at the problem we're solving on the next slide, it's a big, big problem. Who here on this call today would disagree that information in the world is going to not grow in size and not grow in complexity? I think we all would say information is going to keep growing and it's going to get more and more complex. Simultaneously, what's going to grow as well, and it already is compliance and transparency. You see a big push around ESG. The G in ESG is governance, literally. And all of it's underpinned by information. So there's a binary decision businesses need to make. Are you going to optimize the way you govern your information so that you can move forward confidently, reduce risk, execute strategy fast? Or are you going to ignore optimizing the way your information's governed? And then you're going to encounter more risks, more stress, more delays, and ultimately not realize your potential. So that's the problem we're solving. And the size of the problem on the next slide is it's actually a really big problem. It's a $20 billion market around governance, risk, and compliance. Some of that's made up of software and services. And the transaction market for companies that are raising capital and doing IPOs, or perhaps, every business eventually gets sold. All of that stuff, that's a $1.4 billion market. So it's a global market. It's very, very large, and it's growing at 14% per annum. Some sectors within GRC are growing at triple that rate. So that's where we're playing, and that's where we've set ourselves up to win. Now, how we've done that on the next slide is building a brand internationally, and we've ran 24,000 critical transactions. All the way back in 2006, Ansarada was used by James Packer to sell Channel 9 and all of the PBL media stuff to the private equity firm CVC Capital. So that's what we've done. 24,000 very complex deals with working with a lot of people, refining our product features, but we've also got what they call now the new oil in the world, which is data. Data is the new oil. So there's patterns and behaviors in our data that we turn into tools that automate things that were manual. They help people move faster. They reduce risk. We can surface information to make decisions that you couldn't get years ago. So as a brand, strong win rates overseas, nearly half of our revenues outside of ANZ already, and it's growing. So that's great. So next slide is sort of who we serve. So we serve the people down the bottom there, investment bankers, lawyers, accountants. These people are continually doing transactions, and there's a process to get a company ready for a deal, take them through the deal, and then post-deal there's integration activity and reporting and all sorts of stuff. There's so much collaborative work. So the advisors, they want to move fast. They want to reduce risk. They use our product. Companies use our product. Imagine the life of a CFO. They could be out there raising capital, conducting due diligence. That month, they've got a board meeting with all the information and the flow to the board. They've got their annual financial audit coming up, and KPMG, their auditors, are going to come in, and the team's got to have that information prepared really well. And 3 months ago, they just bought a company, and they're integrating that company and all of its systems, all of its information into their environment. All of this is happening simultaneously. All of it has risk. All of it has lots of decisions, lots of collaboration. That's what we make go faster. The other product we have, guys, is exciting, is our tenders product. I'll tell you a story not many people know, even though it's public. We get used for the whole building of infrastructure, actually modernizing cities. And we're so excited about Joe Biden's $2 trillion investment into rejuvenating American infrastructure, because we're the best at doing that end to end. Why do I say that? Well, New South Wales government used Ansarada years ago to sell the energy assets and the poles and wires. The money from that asset sale was recycled into building Sydney Metro and WestConnex, and you see the second airport at Badgerys Creek. Some of those projects are now getting sold and recycled into doing the next one. So we have a deals product to run the deal, but we also have a tenders product that gets used for all of the tender activity around the building, the designing, and the operation of those investments. So these are very multi-billion-dollar projects we get used for across the board. So that's some of what we do, but check out more. On the next slide, it really describes the 4 parts of our platform. So a CFO having one login where their information is really clear and simply laid out, and they're collaborating with the board and the advisors and their team, even external people, securely, is such an advantage versus having separate siloed systems, fragmented information. You can't get visibility, you can't get control, you can't create clarity for your team. That's what we offer, the opposite of that. You get complete control and confidence in one place. So next slide sort of outlines how we do that. I won't dive into this, there's awesome resources on our website, but all of our features are designed to optimize that cycle, creating information, uploading it, allowing access to people to collaborate on it in a controlled way, protecting it. We can actually secure a document and then let people save it, even on their own desktop. And every time they open it, even outside our product, we're tracking what they're doing with it. And we can even revoke and destroy access to that document. Now, can you imagine if you're selling your company and one of the bidders is your closest competitor? That is very valuable. So there's some of our features that people use all in one place. I'll speed up a bit for you guys because I'm conscious of time. So next slide is a sneak peek of a new feature we launched, which is a project management aspect. Who's doing what and when and how. So stitching together all the roles, all the work streams into one simple workflow dashboard. We just launched that last week. It's really exciting growth feature for us that customers have been wanting. Next slide is a couple of stories. Here, a lot of what we do is we find people when they need to use us, and then they find out what else they can do when they expand into other areas of our product. So it leads to an increasing lifetime subscription and also a revenue increase. Craig Adams, excellent fast growth Australian company. Look out for them, Canopy Tools, Internet of Things they do. He found us to raise capital, found out he could use our compliance products for the needs he has there, and has recently signed up for the Ansarada board product to manage all the board meetings and the directors' activities. Why? He can execute his strategy quicker, better collaboration, better visibility and control. The next story is from a company in South Africa. They have a deal capital markets company where they do deals and they do advisory. The $2 billion PepsiCo deal there, deal of the year, ran on Ansarada. But they have a holding company that does other activities called the PSG Group. And they're on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange top 100. So they not only use us for deals, PSG Group now uses Ansarada board as well. So we have 400,000 users of our product and more than 3,000 customers. We're constantly expanding into more of our platform. The next slide just takes you through Q3 results. And, you know, at the start of this, we talked about companies promising stuff and not delivering. We said in our IPO in December, we're going to get back to cash flow positivity. We did that, 2.1 million there down the bottom. We have zero debt. We've got 22 million in the bank. We operate on a 92% gross margin in our business. Moving back up to the top left, our Q3 new wins of new customers, new contract was up 29% year on year. Record customer levels, 3,200, 18% year on year growth. We actually grew more of our subscriber customers, which is those longer term subscriptions. And our revenue got up to 9 million for the quarter. And our average revenue per account, that's what we mean by ARPA, $1,000, stable, didn't decline, which is a challenge when you're growing fast to keep your ARPA stable. So we're excited about that and what the future holds. The next slide's just talking about showing you how we recovered from COVID. 2019 to 2020, you'll see we had 2,600 customers, but we only added 100 because around this time last year, a lot of our customers hit the pause button because of a lot of uncertainty. But now things have totally changed and people have learned how to use technology like ours during COVID and they're adopting it even more. So that's why we're now accelerating our customer growth there and we'll continue. Next slide. How exciting is a chart like this, guys? We traditionally, and our competitors still only have a direct sales channel, physical salespeople. We have them around the world, but we launched an e-commerce channel. In a few clicks, couple of minutes, you can get Ansarada online. Even to run a multi-billion-dollar deal, you could go click, 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 get yourself set up, automated, or you could run a $5 million Series A capital raise doing this. But look at the customer number growth. It's contributed 26% of new customers in Q3. Really exciting. We launched some improvements to that this week that are publicly available on our website. And you know, we're going to continue to refine that. Very scalable, a lot of operating leverage. So that brings me to the next slide, which is why would you invest in Ansarada? Well, we're going to continue growing the deals platform, and that's a multi-billion-dollar opportunity in itself. We're going to keep expanding customers into more risk and compliance and tenders and board products. we're growing internationally already, but if you combine that with the e-commerce channel, we're going to grow even more overseas using e-commerce. We validated that, and now we're pouring more into it. And we're very well set up financially to fund this stuff. So that brings me to the end. So I'm happy to open up for Q&A.
Thanks, Sam.
Oh, sorry, I'll leave that on screen. I forgot, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we got the platform. We've recovered from COVID. I mentioned our strong financial position there. We have a trusted brand that's established around the world. Very important because we have a risk-averse audience, and we have a history of continually innovating and delivering things to the market. So now I'll hand over.
Thanks, Sam. I only got a couple time for a couple of questions. Who is your current client base in terms of kind of breakdown of who they are?
Yeah, so our current client base is made up of, you've got government clients that'll use us for like some of the things I spoke about with tenders. We've got people that'll, companies like CFOs, CEOs. So you're looking at a lot of mid-market companies and lower middle market. So a lot of companies are our clients. Law firms are our clients. You think about an investment bank, they're clients of ours, and also accounting firms. So these are all people that use Ansarada and procure it.
And do you charge? How do you charge them? Is it a subscription base or
yeah?
How do you position that?
They choose what level of access they want to Ansarada. Do they want all of the stuff we have? And then they choose how long do they want to subscribe. So we've got a monthly subscription. We do offer for some use cases 3 months, and then we have a 12-month subscription. So, people using more of our product choose 12 months. People doing maybe a one-time deal do monthly. So it's about 50-50 split for us in new sales. So in any given month, 50% monthly, 50% annual.
And there'd have to be a lot of competition in this space. Can you talk to the competition?
Yeah, there's like, if you say who can store documents online, there's a lot of competitors. But when you get into like, well, who can control and protect them? Who can track them? Who can offer it, integrated with my board? There is no competitor that has the platform we have holistically. But if you break it down into lighter elements, there's lots of competitors. But one of our biggest competitors, a company called Intralinks, they're based in America, largely do deals. The Merrill Data Side, these have been around longer than us, older code bases, slower software. We're really known for simplicity in that space.
And you do have $20 million in the bank, and you do have a cash burn of $2 or $3 million a quarter. How do you balance that growth and that cash reserve?
Yeah, actually, we were cash flow positive in the quarter, so we're not burning cash. So we look at metrics and we look at CAC payback. And in our quarterly report, our CAC payback, our customer acquisition cost is paid back in 4 months or less. So we're putting more money, and we said we'd do this, we're putting more money into marketing right now, but we won't exceed more money if the CAC payback is longer. So we're getting our money paid back in 4 months. The lifetime's much longer than that. So that's how we're growing, profitably or neutral. We don't aim to burn cash. We would only burn cash if it's proven methodically, reliably, sustainably to produce growth. And some of that is happening in our business, and we've deployed capital into it.